Hello, we're back here at Meldon Law and Friends. We have a guest host today who happens to be myself, Carrie Meldon from Meldon Law. We have a great show. We have some fun guests. We have a repeat guest coming up in a few minutes, Sanvo. We're going to talk about his entrepreneurship as well as the infamous swamp boil, which if you haven't been yet, I've been a few times. My girlfriend loves it. And we'll talk about what swamp boil is about. We also have another guest, Gregory Stetz, who's coming on the second set, and that will be really interesting too. There's a new arcade coming to downtown Gainesville, which
bragging rights.
Yeah, bragging rights.
That's
it.
Yep.
That's the second guest, so it's going to be a fun show today. Before we go forward, I'm always tasked with the responsibility of announcing our podcast giveaways. As we usually do, we give away sporting event tickets, and this week we're giving away volleyball tickets to the UF women's volleyball match versus Arkansas. It's October 29th, and we're giving a 4-pack of tickets away, and if you win the 4-pack of tickets, you also get a $50 gift card to Harry's, and if you win, there's also a 2-pack of tickets, and we're giving a $25 gift certificate to Harry's. So that will pay for lunch before you go to the game. So we're doing that promotion. You can go to our Facebook page, Meldon Law, or our Instagram account. And if you can't find it at either places, go to our website, meldonlaw.com. And if all of that fails, give us a call. Our number is 1-800-373-8000. The other giveaway that we're announcing today is an unusual giveaway. It's the Haunted Market Trick-or-Treat event in Ocala, Florida. Apparently, our firm will be giving out candy. I did not know that. I promise you it will be safe because we are responsible candy vendors, apparently. I will be in Jacksonville cheering on the Florida Gators versus the Bulldogs, but our mighty marketing team will be down there. It's located at 403 Southeast Osceola Avenue in Ocala, Florida, and the time of the Haunted Market Trick-or-Treat event is 4 to 8 p.m. So if you want to get your kids a huge stash of candy, there'll be other candy givers there. So that's the place in Ocala, Florida, 4 to 8, 403 Southeast Osceola Avenue, Ocala, Florida. All right, well, I've done my duties with the giveaways.
Well done.
I work hard.
Podcast there.
I know I work hard on my giveaways every time. But now comes the fun part. So, Son, this is your second appearance on Meldon Law and Friends. Mm-hmm. Do you know that we've had over 100 episodes now?
No, congratulations.
Started in COVID.
Okay.
And since COVID, we have not missed 1 week.
Wow.
We average 2 guests a week, which is incredible. So we've had over 200 guests. Now we've only had a few repeat guests. So you're very
sweet.
Yeah, you're like a big deal. You're a special
my mom
deal.
Was right.
Yes, your mom was correct. So I'm sorry. I always look at the camera at the TV over there, but we got to look at the camera. So forgive me, audience, if I've been looking the wrong direction. But the point is that we've been doing this nonstop, and during this time, we've got to meet some incredible leaders, people that I've heard about, and never actually got to speak to. And today's show is no different because I get to have my first podcast with you. Last time you were with my father, Jeffrey, and Gregory after will also be a cool guest. So this will be a fun show. So without further ado, we're going to introduce Sanvo. San is the proprietor of Swamp Boil. Swamp Boil is located on 13th Street, close to Gainesville High School, and it's an incredible restaurant. I'm gonna let him describe it, but what I'll tell you is it's how I describe it is Cajun Vietnamese seafood or Viet Cajun food. Very famous in Houston, very famous in New Orleans, and it's made its way to Florida, and it's absolutely incredible because the flavors and the amount of seafood that you get is probably more than anywhere else in Gainesville. So if you're a seafood lover,
or a lawyer,
I'm a seafood lawyer, but if you're a seafood lover, you can go and eat yourself some Swamp Boil. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the vision behind Swamp Boil and how it came to Gainesville?
So you did a great job of kind of explaining it all, so thank you. And so we started we opened up on October 12th of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, the wonderful time to start a restaurant. So the idea, though, started back in probably 2018. We own the plaza that's in the Square Plaza, and we own the nail salon, which is my mom's, and we luxury nails and spa. And every time we would go down to Orlando to pick up nail salon supplies, we would always stop at a Viet Cajun place called King Cajun.
Okay.
And we would always get the crawfish boil and their sauce, and then we would even sometimes take trips all the way down there to get this food. Eventually, we tried to make it at home, and we got pretty successful over time. The sauce was delicious. We got better and better over time, and we had that spot vacant in our plaza, for so long, and we never knew what to do with it. So eventually, in 2018, we mulled it over and thought about it, and we're like, you know what? We have the spot. This does not exist in Gainesville yet.
Right.
It's perfect for, graduations, large events, caterings, etc., and just group outings. So, we saw the opportunity, and, me being entrepreneurial and I coming from a very entrepreneurial family, we saw the opportunity, and so we took it.
Yeah.
So we started the project in 2018. However, we hit a lot of snags with, vendors and, the permitting, and then obviously COVID. So it took us a year longer than we wanted to open, but it was a blessing in disguise because luckily we didn't have to close down during the shutdown and then reopen. So we just ended up opening after. So October 12th of 2020 was when we opened. So meaning the fact that we also hit our 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations!
A few weeks ago, yeah.
And isn't there a swamp boiler room, or what's the?
Yeah. So we do these events called swamp boiler rooms. It takes on there's these electronic shows, underground shows called Boiler Room. So we take the name Swamp Boiler Room. And so pretty much what we do is we do a late night party. We bring in DJs, the bar's open, we don't serve food though. And it's just a party, and we're trying to do some kind of, customer appreciation event for one of these.
I mean,
so
you guys
stay
serve
tuned for
alcohol
that.
there too, right?
Yes. We have a full bar, full liquor license. So all the goodies that are there. Yes.
I'll tell you, from my experience, the decor is awesome. You walk in, you feel like it's something, you're going, it's almost like going to a park, like Disney Park when you walk in.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool. It's got some fun decor, and you walk in and you got paper all over the tables because it's a messy affair.
Exactly.
And so I would make one suggestion to people out there: make sure that if they go there, to use all of the gloves,
the bibs,
and don't be afraid to get dirty. Because that's the best part is you get to go have fun.
Exactly.
It's an experience,
it's a bonding experience, So
really,
I always
very
say,
much is.
we're more than just a restaurant. We're a community hub. We do events, and we support a lot of the community and do a lot of community events. That's one of our core values. And I just want, we're not just a restaurant serving food. We are an experience business. We want to give people an experience, an opportunity to bond, and an opportunity to connect. So by just that dining style, you're getting messy and intimate with someone. You're feeling vulnerable, right? So that allows for more connection too. So
it's great. It's a great date spot too.
It is. It really is.
Because it gets out of the stuffy environment.
Yeah, maybe not the first date, but I mean, we have other things other than boils. If you don't want to get messy just yet, so we have plenty of other.
I like to get them messy right off the bat. I like to know what I'm working with. Are they going to be, a stick in the mud, or are they going to go with the flow? Right?
I can take you out to dinner, right, Gary?
and I mean that with regards to their personality.
Of course.
So one of the things that I have learned about you is that you have an extensive entrepreneurial background. So tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
You talk about your core values, how that relates to your restaurant and the journey that you're currently on.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, I come from a very entrepreneurial family. My underlying why, which I've kind of cultivated over time, and it will change probably throughout my life, but my current why is to help people love and feel capital L love, that spiritual deep love, through created experiences. So I want to help people connect and have that community and have that understanding that we're all in this together. It's all love, etc. Right? So that's my underlying why, and that's why for my entrepreneurship, I started that back in my college career. I graduated anthropology, meaning the study of human beings. I thought that if I can understand people better, I can help them better. So within that, I did something called Startup Sprint, and it was pretty much you had 54 hours, and you met with a bunch of random people, and you had to start a company from an idea stage to pitching it to investors or judges, and whoever won, they got $10,000 towards their idea. And from all that, it really got my mojo.
Did you
going.
win?
No, definitely didn't win. But I think
But
we
you
got
tried.
like third. Yeah, we got like third or second.
That's
so
not bad. That's not bad.
And so we, from there, just, I joined an entrepreneurship club, found my mentor, Marty Schaffel, who's a UF professor now. And I just was able to get a lot of that entrepreneurial experience, and it just kind of fueled everything from there.
So, obviously the restaurant is a place, that you're one of the first Cajun restaurateurs in Gainesville. You're dealing with, COVID when you're coming through. You've got, you're trying to figure out supply issues because what you're serving is different types of really, really good seafood. I mean, lobster, Dungeness crab, snow crab, king crab. I mean, stuff that most restaurants aren't able to provide to their customers. At any point were you thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea, or were you just gung-ho, like, I'm going to do it no matter what?
Obviously, there were a lot of moments because I'm not a restaurateur. I've never been a restaurateur. My background was in tech and medicine, and I'm a realtor as well. So this was completely out of my, my expertise. So when the idea was like from the family, and like, I was the only one capable of doing it, there were very many times where I was beaten to the ground, pretty burnt out, and there was just problems left and right that I was did not even know were capable, possible problems. But I knew that we had something good here. I knew that I believed in myself, my mentors, the community around me, and the team that I have as well. And so with every time I was down, I always had somebody picking me back up. So, there were moments where I was like doubtful, of course, and it's a very hard industry to be in.
The restaurant industry is, I think, a top 5% most difficult industry. I was telling you before the podcast, I work with a lot of bars and restaurateurs. And it's something that you have to have thick skin, but you have to dream big, and you have to be passionate about.
I completely agree.
So that's something that it's apparent to me that you're passionate about your people, your restaurant,
the experience, and
the
everything.
experience,
exactly,
and the community.
Of course, And so just from all the great things you've said and all the great feedback we've gotten from the community, I'm just happy that we were able to provide people with this experience and this new thing that they are able to try and a place to call home.
Well, we're going to go to our first break. I want to give you an opportunity to tell the audience where the address, the days that you're open, and maybe what you think their first order should be.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah,
so why don't you we got a couple minutes until the first break. So first of all, what's the address of Swamp?
So the address is 2001 Northwest 13th Street, Suite 10, Gainesville, Florida, 32609. Our phone number is 352-204-8888. And our social media, just everything at Swamp Oil. And swampoil.com is our website. The first thing I recommend you guys order is definitely go for a boil. I usually say about 2 pounds is when you have a full meal. I recommend the shebang sauce. Can't go wrong with that, and that's the smell that you instantly hits you.
I can confirm the shebang sauce is awesome. It's really, really good.
And then, but if seafood isn't your thing, we made sure there's plenty of other options. We have pho. I would like to say we have probably one of the best phos in town. I eat one almost every single day. We have stir-fried noodles.
Is that your success at staying skinny instead of...
exactly.
It's the pho, huh?
Yeah, it's the pho, man. It's the pho. And that is a family recipe, authentic. My dad and uncle are in the kitchen, as well as my fantastic team. We also have stir-fried noodles, egg rolls. We have gumbo. And so we have a lot of both sides. And we're coming out with a new menu soon, as I was talking to
Can't wait. Can you give any previews today?
Yeah, so we had oysters and gator tail on special. We're adding some fried grouper. We are also doing some blackened grouper. And we have a new boil sauce in the works as well, so stay tuned for that. And
you have like 4 or 5 of them already.
Yeah,
right?
we have 4 or 5 of them. But
shebang, which is a very succulent sauce.
Yeah, and then we do the Cajun butter just for the traditional. We have a citrus for the lighter option, and then we have the Saigon barbecue, which we might be getting rid of because it's not as selling as well, and that's another thing we have to make that isn't quite working. So, but the new sauce, I'm gonna just leave it out there so that
I see Tammy drooling over there. No, she's not really drooling, but it sounds
we have a lot
good.
of good things coming, so I'm excited about it.
Yes. Well, we're going to our first break. But as we do, what are the days that you guys are open in the hours?
Yes. So we are open Monday through Sunday. So Monday through Thursday is 9 to 9. And then, 11 to 9. And then Friday and Saturday, we are 11 to 10. And then Sunday is 11 to 9.
So lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner, correct.
Okay. All right. We'll go to our first break. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not. No,
I
it's
am
not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than that? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
Okay, we're back here with Sanvo. We're on our second segment of the first guest of Meldon Law and Friends. Once again, we appreciate everyone tuning in to our show. I'm going to reiterate the giveaways as always for this week. We're doing the volleyball game versus Arkansas as well as a haunted market trick-or-treat event in Ocala. To get more details, go to our Facebook page, Meldon Law, spelled Meldonlaw, just like it's spelled in below my right hand here. So you can't miss it. Anyways, San, let's go back to talking about Swamp Boil. We have an incredible announcement that I want you to talk about today that that I just learned about.
Yeah. So we are, I think it happened in August or so, we became official sponsors of the Florida Gators.
That's amazing.
Yes. And,
welcome to the club.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate it. And it'd be my alma mater. It was just, it was an emotional moment signing the papers. I got a shout out to Alex. So thank you for getting us in there. Yeah, it's been very, I don't know, it's been exciting just knowing that, when I was there for the sponsorship an event, and I saw our logo in the book with all the other sponsors, and I was like, wow, this is my school. And
You
I
made
got to
it.
be a part of it. I
Yeah,
made it.
you made
So
it.
it came full circle.
The Gators approved. Now,
yes.
now the Swamp Boil is really
It's there, yeah.
for the swamp.
Yeah.
Have you ever made any Swamp Boil for the players yet?
Yes. So we.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So not particularly for the players yet, but during the LSU game, we actually catered the football faculty. So it was like 200 or 225 people.
Wow.
And it was, so it was the largest catering we've had yet.
How did you prepare a Swamp Boil for that many people?
Yes. So Nancy, who was great, she, we're on the phone, and then she told us our budget and everything, and then she kind of told us that we want to go more low occasion, obviously have a boil, but we're having LSU, so I want this, and that, and we kind of built together a package for her. So we do large scale catering. So any businesses or parties out there, please let us know.
That's good to know. Are you UF approved caterer yet, or?
I don't know, because I don't know how that works, honestly.
Well, we'll get you. I have a contact, so we're going to get
cool.
you UF approved.
Yeah,
so that means if it's not just UF, it's UF Health.
Okay, cool.
So it's always good, and I think your people would go crazy over your food.
I think so
it's
too.
Incredible.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We had that, and it was a great experience. We were in the indoor training facility over by the O'Connell Center. So we dropped it off, took some pictures. Nancy was great. People loved the food. Dropped off some marketing materials. Overall, great experience, and just getting that done again. It was just a very emotional moment. Just like seeing it's like we're making progress over all the hardships we've been through, and we're actually doing this thing.
Well, that's something that I think you can take heart is. If you can get through COVID, you can get really through anything.
Yeah.
Especially the beginning of a business is in and of itself so hard that those times are hard during the good times.
Yeah.
When there is not a pandemic, it's hard to open a business.
What's the saying? It's like I'd rather be a soldier in a garden than a gardener in a war. Or a warrior in a garden rather than a gardener in a war.
Yes.
And so
I never heard that.
Yeah. It's a great saying. it's very true because we saw the worst of it, and if we're able to make it through that, or making it through that, then when it gets easy, then I think we're really kind of take off.
Well, you'll have stories to tell.
Oh, absolutely.
50 years from now, you'd be like, you guys don't know how easy you have it. I started this
Back in
through
my
COVID.
day.
Yes. the back in my day stories always ring true, right?
But I want to go back to the sponsorship.
Yeah.
So the specific sponsorships we have with the Gators is specifically through volleyball and softball. So softball is in the spring. Volleyball is currently being played. Obviously, the tickets to give away. We do trigger promotions there. So if the Florida Gators win, everybody with a ticket within the next 48 hours gets a free appetizer with their purchase.
What?
Yeah. So
Did not know that.
Yeah. So every time we win, and then we also
So
have a banner
what
in
are
there.
some appetizers that you guys offer that are part of the
So,
promotion?
Oh man, the egg rolls you cannot go wrong with. They're like crack, dude. I can eat so many of them.
Not that we know what crack is
Not
like.
that we know, of course. There's the crawfish etouffee fries that are a big hit. We also have Viet street corn, which is
That sounds great.
yeah. So it's kind of like our take on elote, but it's like breaded and fried with our yum yum sauce. Delicious dish. Yeah, and then we have obviously fried shrimp and chicken nuggets for just the regular things, but we put a very great twist on it. Some of our chicken nuggets are some of the best I've ever had.
What's this? You have this bread that I had one time. That
Shebang bread?
Was it shebang bread?
Shebang bread.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like I could eat the entire loaf of bread. I was seriously like
For sure.
considering like getting my own loaf
No,
of
absolutely.
shebang bread.
Yeah.
It's really good. You got to bring your appetite though.
Yes, you do. Yeah,
It's-
if you're gonna eat, you're gonna eat. But we do happy hour for smaller bites from 11 to 7. From 4 to 7 is food, but 11 to 7 is happy hour for drinks and whatnot
So
as
the
well.
people who hold the tickets, do they have to come that week or when does
It's
it?
48 hours.
48
So
hours.
48 hours from the end of the game. So you have the next 2 days to come in.
So get your butt into.
Get your butt
hey,
in
you got
there.
lunch and
Yeah,
dinner,
yeah.
so you can choose
Exactly,
either one.
yeah.
Is there a different lunch menu than a dinner menu, or is it all the same?
It's slightly different. We have a little bit lighter options like the bun noodle bowl. So if you're familiar with Vietnamese cuisine, that is one of my favorite dishes on our menu because we have this lemongrass beef that goes with it. That's so good. The pho and that is probably what I eat pretty often because they're lighter and there's something I can consistently eat. Everything on the menu, I try to make sure though that I can eat that almost every single day. So when I'm recommending everything, it's hard for me not to go through the entire menu.
Yeah, I'll tell you. What I like about Swamp Boil is that the food is amazing. They give you everything you need to, so when you walk out there, you don't feel like disgusting. 'Cause
Yeah,
you'll be
exactly.
cleaned up. You'll
Yeah.
feel good. You don't. I mean, the food is high quality food.
Yeah.
Like when I say there's not many places that have that high quality seafood, I can only count on maybe one hand.
Thank you.
The type of
That
places
means a lot. Yeah.
that actually
Yeah,
can
yeah.
provide you that type of seafood in Gainesville. And I do like the local breweries, so you can get like a First Magnitude
Yes, yeah, you get
beer on draft,
we have
which is
First
great.
Mag, Cypress and Grove, and then we have, of course, Swamp Head on tap.
So the shebang sauce pairs very well with the First Magnitude.
It does, yeah. Like there's nothing that it's hard to beat seafood and beer.
It really
especially,
is.
Especially with
Well,
our local breweries.
My first experience was going when I was in college. I used to go to New Orleans a lot. I had friends that played baseball.
Actually, just got back from there. We're doing an R&D trip where, oh no, I had to eat and drink all
I
weekend.
know that's where to go. But everybody eats crawfish and they drink beer because
Yes.
it's so salty that the beer is kind of what offsets the crawfish.
Crawfish isn't super filling, so you have that beer too. It just complements it so well.
It does.
Really does.
That was when I first learned about
Yeah.
how important it was to have a draft beer
Yeah,
with your seafood.
Yeah, we actually
So-
do a special on Thursday, so I do want to mention our weekly specials.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Let's mention them all. 'cause I wanna hear
yeah,
about them.
so on Tuesday we're currently doing, so that's today, we're doing $5 stir-fried noodles for lunch, so that's from 11 to 4 every Tuesday, which is today, right? Yeah.
My
And-
girlfriend loves
yeah.
noodles, so
Perfect.
she'll probably be there for lunch.
Oh
when
yeah,
she's in town.
absolutely. $5 can't beat that.
Yeah.
You get a decent portion.
Yep.
And then we also do $12 crab legs on Tuesdays right now. And so we're currently closed on Mondays, but we will be opening up back on Mondays coming up soon. Not quite yet, but we might move a few of those specials around. But currently, $5 noodles during lunch, and then $12 crab legs all day.
That's great.
Yeah, Wednesdays is family night, so kids eat free with the purchase of adult entree. So limit 2 kids per adult entree, though. So I don't want you to come in with group of 10 kids. And
does anyone have 10 kids anymore? I feel like
I don't
that's
know.
like
I mean,
that's
I don't
like
know
the
how
old days.
Octomom is doing.
You
So.
know,
But,
right.
yeah.
But it used to be people would have big
Yeah, no,
families.
absolutely.
Now I don't see as many kids anymore.
Yeah,
when I go
no,
out.
I mean,
It's weird.
The economy, in this economy, it's like, supporting that many kids as well. It's just,
It's crazy.
yeah, it'd be crazy.
I know.
But, powers to all moms out there because you guys are really,
it really-
any parent, honestly. But, yeah.
I echo that 1,000%.
Yeah.
So what other specials are there?
Yeah,
Is
so
there-
Thursday is all you can eat crawfish, $28, all you can eat. There's a guy who ate 11 pounds. I don't recommend that. I'm sure he wasn't feeling very great afterwards. I talked to him. He was
11
like,
pounds?
that was, yeah, I took a picture of him. We had a conversation. He said,
But he was averaging $2.80 per pound.
Yeah,
So
he
got a
was
really
crushing.
great
He was
bargain,
having a great day. But he was like, yeah, I wouldn't do that ever again. But, I did it, and I'm here. And I was like, that's the record to beat. I don't recommend anybody doing it, but, if you're out there trying to, I don't know if it'll be even a good time doing it, but it'll be a tasty time.
Crawfish, by the way, if you haven't had Viet Cajun food, crawfish is one of the. I mean, it's also got its background in New Orleans.
Yes.
But with the spices, it's an incredible
Yeah, it really is.
dish, and
Yeah.
it's something you could sit down there for 30, 45 minutes, and it's one of these, like you said, experiences.
It really is, yeah. And obviously because you're peeling off the tail and everything like that. And I go to tables all the time and people ask me how to eat crawfish because I don't know how to eat it.
You
But
suck the head. I suck the head.
yeah, what we have a saying is like, pinch the tail, suck the head.
Right.
So it's like, I'm trying to put that on a shirt.
Yes.
But I personally love it. It's delicious. Some people get thrown off because they look like little lobsters, so,
Right.
But I absolutely love it. The flavor is absorbed very well through the sauces.
Yes.
And sucking the head and the tail and everything like that, you get a lot of the juices. So it is quite delicious.
So that's
And
Thursday.
That's Thursday, all you can eat. And then we're about to do something called Fish Fridays, Fish Fry Fridays. So we're going to have a fish fry platter with fries in it and everything like that. And also on Thursdays, we're also doing buckets with the crawfish, which is why we're saying how good of a combo beer and
That's
crawfish
a great
is.
idea. Yeah.
And on Fridays, we're doing something called Fish Fridays, which I think we're still working out the details. And then Saturday is just if there's a game day, then every time the Gators score, especially if it's Gator game day, free shots for everybody.
Oh, so you have liquor too.
We have full liquor, full bar.
Oh, there you go.
And
so
then
for
on
those people
Sunday-
that don't drink beer, you have wine and
Yes,
liquor.
and also we have mocktails too.
Okay.
Yeah, so for those non-drinkers as well. And then on Sunday, all day happy hour.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really. I thought today was a good show, San. Is there anything you want to say? We got a couple minutes before we have to go. Anything else that's coming up? I know. Well, you talked about Swamp Boiler Room.
Yeah.
And is that open to the public or is that just for your
Yes,
team?
so it was usually before we did private, but this time for our 2-year anniversary, we might open it up to the public and kind of run it that way. We're still working out the details, so there's no definite date or kind of plan for it yet, but we have some ideas mulling around. Some upcoming events. So we have the GCM Food Festival.
Yeah, I
coming
saw
up.
that. Yeah, that's huge. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
what,
huge.
like
Yeah, it's going
30
on right here.
restaurants that
Yeah,
are participating?
I think it's our 3rd or 4th year doing it,
Cool.
or time doing it. But great experience. Tickets, I can't remember how much they are, but like 20, 30, I don't know. I don't want to give you a wrong price right now, but very reasonable prices. It's all you can eat from some of the best restaurants in town. It's a great way to sample everybody. It's a great way to support your community. Show out, meet a lot of the faces that are behind a lot of your favorite restaurants. So Ed with gift certificates and more puts it on, and great guy.
Ed's a character.
Ed is
Everyone
sure
knows
character.
Ed,
Everybody
right?
loves
Everyone knows
Ed.
He,
Yeah.
he's got a bus running around.
He
town,
does, yeah,
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
He's definitely
An entrepreneur, man.
an entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
he's a marketing wizard. So go support local Gainesville restaurants. Including Swamp Boil, is once again you're open from Tuesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner.
Yes.
The hours extend a little bit during the weekend.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday we're open until 11, whereas the other days are 10.
Exactly.
10,
And
11. That's what I'm doing.
and what's your website is Swamp Boil?
Swampboil.com. Yeah.
All right, so just go to the website if you want to see the specials, anything that's coming up. Obviously, as Swamp Boil are now proud partners with the Gators, they have giveaways for the volleyball
Yes.
team this fall. So make sure you keep your ticket if you go to an event, because within 48 hours you can use that to redeem some incredible appetizers, the egg rolls, and the other stuff that you had mentioned on the menu.
Yes.
So it's definitely worth stopping by if you haven't already. If you've been before, you should go again. And, Son, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great time in Mexico.
Appreciate it.
And, come back and rested and relaxed in one
Absolutely.
piece so we can see you at Swamp Oil in the future.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing everybody there.
All right. So we'll be coming back in about a couple minutes with Gregory Stetz, and we'll talk about some new cool arcades that are coming to downtown
Looking
Gainesville.
forward to that. Greg's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Son.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not, no,
I
it's
am
not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Albert and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Albert is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're gonna need help, and they will help you.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not, no,
I
it's
am
not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky.
Talk about some of the new things that are coming to downtown Gainesville. This is definitely be a segment worth staying tuned for. Before we go into the interview, I do want to go back and discuss the giveaway announcements. We have, of course, on October 29th, a 4-pack of tickets that we're giving away to the UF Women's Volleyball match versus Arkansas Razorbacks. That includes a $50 gift card to Harry's Seafood and Grill, which is located downtown. And then on the next day, October 30th, we're doing a 2-pack giveaway. That's on Sunday. That's 2 tickets as well as a $25 gift card to Harry's, so you can go grab lunch before the match on both dates. That's Saturday and Sunday of this weekend. To go apply for these tickets, just go to our Facebook page or Instagram page. If you can't find the link there, then go to our website, meldonlaw.com, And if that fails, then just give us a call at our office, 1-800-373-8000, and we'll walk you through it to make sure you are entered into the contest. The other event that we're going to be working is not a giveaway, but it's actually, it kind of is a giveaway because we're going to be giving away a lot of candy, is on Sunday, October 30th, we're participating in the Haunted Market Trick-or-Treat event in Ocala, and this is located at 403 Southeast Osceola Avenue, Ocala, Florida, and the time is between 4 and 8, and apparently there's going to be a lot of candy being given out. So if you're looking to get your candy needs met quickly and in one location, go to Ocala, go to the Haunted Market Trick-or-Treat event on Sunday, and you guys will come away with a ton of candy. So that's kind of a shortcut, I guess, for the parents that don't want to walk around the neighborhoods. You can go to one place and there's going to be vendors giving out candy. Yeah, it sounds. I wish I knew about that when I was a kid. We had to work for our candy when I was trick-or-treating, 30, 40 years ago. But I guess today they make it easy. So without further ado, we're going to introduce our second guest, Greg Stetz. Greg, thank you for joining Meldon Law Friends this afternoon.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. It's nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. You don't know this, but I've heard a lot about you. Our office is very close to a lot of the buildings that you owned near downtown Gainesville, and what you're doing is really, really interesting. I think you're a perfect guest for our podcast today because one of the things that we try to talk about is the local community and the new things that are coming to the community that people need to know about so they can support it. And namely, there's a couple different buildings on 8th Avenue. And for those people, when I say downtown Gainesville, I'm specifically talking about the area between the police station on 8th and 13th and 8th and Main Street where the Firestone and the U-Haul is. There's a group of buildings. I know Greg has many other properties too, but those are a specific group of buildings where there's a lot of new things coming into play. Notably, my gym that I go to, Bellator Fitness, that's one of Greg's properties that we just moved into a couple months ago, and I'll give a shout out to Ron. He runs an incredible gym for those people out there who are trying to get strong and stay fit. Go to Ron's. I'm 44 years old now, so I may not be in the tip-top shape, but I feel better now than I did before I started, so I'm really happy about my journey with Bellator Strength Fitness, and so I always try to promote them. But also, there's some cool gaming opportunities that are downtown. In fact, there's 2 new businesses, as far as I know, that include games. One's arcade, and one's a game store. So why don't you talk a little bit about, first of all, the arcade?
So, yeah, there's many businesses, and that area was kind of falling away oppositely economically, and there were a lot of abandoned buildings, and we came in and it's just started taking them down one by one, and trying to think what could we bring to Gainesville that there's a need for and what people want, and how can we. I was sick of the brain drain.
Okay.
Being here for over 20 years,
Right.
I have lost dozens of friends just because they don't have opportunities here, or cultural opportunities, and they don't necessarily want to stick around. And so I've been thinking, what can we do to get people to stay?
Okay.
And also University of Florida asked me for some help with that, and saying cultural things. So I
Right.
said, okay, it's culture.
Yeah.
Everyone's always building apartment complexes or
Right.
things like that. That's what makes the money. And
Well,
so-
isn't Gainesville the crossroads where nature and culture mix? That's what
That's right.
the city says.
And, 20 years ago when I moved here, I fell in love with this place.
Yeah.
I came here for school, and
Where were you coming from originally?
I went to Vanderbilt.
Uh-huh.
I dual majored in engineering there, and then I came here to Florida to go to UF.
Mhm.
And then before that, I graduated from high school in Tokyo.
Okay.
I've lived all over the world.
Wow.
Many states, but this is home. I've been here longer than anywhere else I've ever lived.
And so what led you to stay in Gainesville after traveling the world?
So when I was a student, and I was going to UF, some faculty members in the construction and in the real estate school said, "Hey kid, you seem intelligent. We're going to change the city of Gainesville, and we need to change it. There's things that the university needs, and so you see all these 2-story buildings, they're not going to exist anymore, and they're going to be 10 stories or 14 stories. And one of my professors who used to work for GRU told me that they had changed all the infrastructure under the roads for 40-story buildings in specific areas and said, just get ready for the changes. So why don't you stick around? Here are the areas we think are going to change. And back then, I left class when one of the teachers told me that, got on my bicycle, and started riding up and down the streets, he told me, and they were dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, like very dangerous. But there were homes in there we could buy for $30,000, $40,000. So I was working full time, and I started saving everything I could and negotiating, and one turned into two, and that turned into 80, and that turned into apartment buildings.
Good
and
Lord.
That turned into
So you were like the original
sorts of
entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur when you had the inside. It's almost like insider trading. You knew where the development was going to be, and you're like,
Basically.
I'm going to go ahead and see what places I can possibly. Now, was this mostly the student ghetto part of Gainesville?
Some parts of it,
Yeah.
but you know, the areas near UF were the first ones. But then the recession happened in 2007 and 2008, and I'd been working full time, and I bet the stock market was going to crash. I'd bought books about it, and so I started shorting the market. And I maxed out my credit cards, took all my cash, and started shorting the market, and I called it right. And so I actually had some cash, and then when the market dropped, I was out there with money offering to buy homes and apartment complexes that were about to be taken from tax deeds. And so then I started doing that, and over time built up a portfolio, and then I took a job building for billionaires in Palm Beach, and I moved down there and worked for people like Trump and Koch brothers and all sorts of people working on their homes.
What
I did
type
that
of work?
for, general construction, remodeling, design, build, commercial stone, a lot of stone work.
How did you find it? Was it fun going down to the land of the billionaires and seeing what their imaginations could dream up?
And they're professionals. They only hired the best.
Right.
So for years I worked with the best in the world, and design-wise and aesthetic-wise. But after a while, the disconnect between that sort of wealth and, you know, I'm running a company of 50 people, they're making $15 an hour, and the disconnect between the billionaire class and the working class was too much for me. I couldn't take it. And so I kept buying properties up in Gainesville and traveling back and forth, and eventually for Grove Street, which is the neighborhood we're talking about on 8th Avenue where the arcade is, there was an ice house there that I heard about. It used to be an ice house, and it was also the start of Florida Food Service, which was a major corporation. It was called Bill's Meat Market back then, and it was run down, and there used to be crazy parties in it. And one day I was riding my bike past it, and I saw a for sale sign, and I started looking around the neighborhood more in depth, and I'm like, well, there's an abandoned building, and there's an abandoned building, and everywhere there were abandoned buildings, and then our buildings that shouldn't be there. Like
Right.
Walker Furniture was selling furniture.
Yeah, Walker Furniture was there for for decades.
And they're a great company, and they have great products, and they're awesome. But that part of town didn't make a lot of sense.
I think and the market shifted. That people weren't buying furniture like they used to when going into mom and pop, locations. You know, it was a little bit different. And then I guess 20 years ago, people started ordering stuff online, and so you saw an opportunity where other people didn't. And this is still, like you said, it was not necessarily the safest part of Gainesville.
Yeah, and that used to be the center of Gainesville.
Yes.
So Gainesville Shopping Center, where that Publix is, was the only shopping center in the 50s. And Central Motor Supply was over there, and there was a lot of old businesses, which I've found out about. And that was the center of Gainesville. But then someone built where the Lowe's is currently on 13th Street, and that shifted economics.
That was the Gainesville Mall. I used to go to that mall when I was a kid. I think they tore that down in the 1980s, but that was a huge mall, like you said, on 13th, where Lowe's is.
And then when Squatteri developed the Oaks Mall, that then really shifted things
to the northwest.
And it's a logical place for it to be. I mean, traffic patterns, retail, wealth. For a commercial development standpoint, it makes total sense to me why that would happen. But neighborhoods and things like that tend to go through economic cycles. They go through 60 to 70-year cycles.
Okay.
And I had read that many years ago, and I started researching it, and the neighborhood was going through it. So we bought that ice plant and I was going to remodel it and turn it into something. But then a brewery called Cypress and Grove approached me,
Yes.
asked me if they could purchase it. They told me what they were going to do, and I said, oh, that's great. So that would be a nice addition. That's a wonderful place. It's a beautiful Victorian ice plant, and they're excellent brewers. So then after that, we systematically went around and quietly assembled I think 25, 30 tax parcels from 20 different owners. And I realized I couldn't tell anyone what I was doing because people would then get in the way.
Yeah.
So in order to buy, we have something like 17 acres in that part of the city.
Right.
In order to accumulate that much, you have to be very quiet.
Right.
So
did you have different LLCs and yeah?
Lawyers.
We got another break right now, but this is really interesting. In fact, I almost went right through. I flew right through the break. Let's do a quick break. We'll come back. I want to talk about some of these parcels and especially this new arcade that's coming in.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I've done mornings here on Sky Radio for 17 years. Jeffrey Meldon started doing his weekend show here 16 years ago. One of the things that separates Jeffrey is I don't see him out there hollering for people's business. I see him out there investing in the community. He's touched a lot of lives, and a lot of it he'll never know what a difference he made in somebody's life about information that he has shared on the air.
Okay, we're back here at Meldon Law and Friends. I blew right through the break, but I was really intrigued on what Greg was telling me. I didn't know his backstory, so this is always a learning experience for me. I want to get right back into it. We're talking about the parcels that he assembled covertly over a period of time, so that way he can help rejuvenate that part of Gainesville, which was once the center of Gainesville, and I'm familiar with that as well. I know there's some hidden neighborhoods near there, Main Street all the way down, which has some incredible, used to have some incredible houses, still does. But the point is that there is some new stuff coming to that part of Gainesville, which people need to be aware of. And in particular, there's a new arcade that is located on 8th Avenue. I guess it's one street over from Cypress and Grove, right?
So it's one,
Couple streets over.
It's 113 Northwest 8th Avenue.
Tell me a little bit about it. What is it?
So it's a giant arcade, and it is the largest in the state of Florida by volume of games. We opened up phase one, which is almost 10,000 square feet.
Wow.
And the moment they're about 200, at any given day, there's somewhere between 250 to 274 arcade games.
What kind of games is it? Is it like Nintendo games?
Man, we got everything. We got old school and new school. We actually own 1,400 games, and the goal is to be able to put them all into play. If we do that, we'll be the second largest arcade in the world. So that's what we want to do. But economically, how far can we push this? We're not sure yet.
Right.
More people need to be aware of us. Basically, if you come to our arcade and support us, we're going to make it bigger.
So what's the name of the arcade?
It's called Bragging Rights Amusements.
And is it open yet?
It is open.
When did it open?
We did a soft opening about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
We've had zero marketing because we wanted to make sure everything was running right.
All the kinks are ironed out.
Yeah, we had our licenses, and so we're still going through that process, but it's a fully functioning thing.
Now, is it a traditional token per play type of arcade, or is it one where you rent it by the hour?
So at the moment, you pay one fee, and you can play all day long. You can come and go as you want, and all the games are on free play. So at the moment, we have 50 pinballs, I think, on the floor, and some of them are they're amazing. They're rare. We have all the new ones, so when a new one comes out, we get it.
Wow.
And get priority for it because we buy so many games.
Are people coming from all over the world to check this place out?
They don't know we exist yet.
Okay.
But the second that they know we exist, they will come because there are games, there are like 2 or 3 of them in the world, and we have them.
So, side story quickly. I have an office in Fort Lauderdale. I opened in 2017, and I lived about 3 blocks away from a barcade named Glitch, Glitch, which is located in Fort Lauderdale. And there was a arcade player named Billy Mitchell, who's a famous arcade player. He was featured on a documentary called King of Kong. And so I used to go there.
I've met Billy.
You met Billy.
I know
He's an eccentric guy, but I've met
jet black hair.
Jet black hair.
You know,
Yes.
He's excellent.
Yeah.
He's excellent at games. Like he's really pretty much the first pro.
He was always there
games.
playing still, and people go up to him. I talked to him a few times. He was wearing this tie, like he does.
Yeah, the black suit, the tie, the colored shirt underneath. That's his.
And
That's his
he
thing.
signed the Donkey Kong machine in there with his score. So when he comes up to Gainesville, you're gonna have to have him sign your Donkey Kong machine.
I want to beat Billy.
There, I know, right?
Hey, my place is called Bragging Rights. I mean,
Yes.
this is all about winning.
This is all about winning. Well, Billy, if you have
Easiest thing is management@braggingrights.com.
that's the email. Okay.
Also, if you look at our website, our phone number is on there, and that's an easy way to get a hold of us. And
Awesome.
we will set up anything. Like we have this giant wizard costume that's we're about to unleash, and massive pinball tournaments, and we have a contest right now where if you win it, it goes on for the next couple days.
Mm-hmm.
We're launching a brunch food truck.
Mm-hmm.
And the brunch food truck will come to your house and feed you and 15 of your friends.
I love all the
Sunday
food trucks. There's already food trucks out there. There's Germain's, and then you have there's a vegan diner.
There's about to be a lot more. We got permission from the city to build a 6-truck food truck station.
Yeah.
And we're focused on like minorities
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. That whole neighborhood is the melting pot of Gainesville.
It really is.
And so we are very cognizant of that, and we're trying to make sure it remains the melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really going for that. And I think 60% of my tenants in that neighborhood are female.
Yeah.
35% are African American, which in Gainesville, that's a staggering amount.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for people, and I offer lower rent rates to them,
Mm-hmm.
especially if
So for food vendors and for any other type of businesses?
I haven't charged those food vendors anything.
Yeah.
The deal I cut.
Germain's has got some really good fried chicken sandwiches, by the way.
So good.
Yeah, it's
And
really
they
good.
they open permanently November 1st,
I
and they're
like
serving
them.
breakfast.
Are they doing breakfast?
They're going to do chicken and waffles at the location across
Perfect.
from the arcade.
Yeah, and that's right across from Bragging Rights.
That's right.
And that's next to the Ballators, and you're the landlord for Ron Ballator
That's
as
right.
well. There's also, what's the clothing store that's been around?
Flashbacks.
Flashbacks. There's a hair salon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton
There's
of
an
stuff
axe
over
throwing bar that's amazing.
Yeah,
Hatchetberry. That thing was built from a barn.
here. I love that.
A 19th century barn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's what we talked about, a punk outer?
Punk Outers is it's a board game place where you can play things like Magic the Gathering, or you can buy any board game you can imagine.
Right.
You can also play the games there. They have tournaments. They have beer and wine license.
Yeah, this is
And,
going to be really interesting to see how Gainesville responds.
Yeah.
As the students starting to get to...
They don't know we exist.
They don't know you guys
No.
exist anymore.
So I built that neighborhood thinking about the people of Gainesville.
Okay.
You know, like you're 30, 40, 50. What do you do? There's nothing. You have to come over here. And this takes 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, let's bring things that are good for the residents first.
Absolutely.
And then from there, if the students want to piggyback, but I keep the rent rates intentionally low. You know, that's one of the reasons I couldn't let people know about what I was doing, because the lower the purchase price, the lower we can rent them out for and culturally program it versus building student housing, which would destroy the fabric of that neighborhood, in my opinion. But I'll build professional housing soon. I'm going to build things like that.
Well, that's something that's really interesting. I live downtown. I work downtown. No offense to the people in the northwest side of Gainesville. I try to stay on the east side of 13th. I try not to go cross over the tracks, as I say. I'm a Moby here today because of the podcast, but generally speaking, the food opportunities downtown are amazing. I work downtown and I love where I live. Let me ask you this: what are the hours for those people out there that want to check out Bragging Rights? What are the hours where they can go and
It's been
look?
bit of a moving target
Okay.
because we're testing things, but at the moment we've been open Thursdays from 4 to 11, Fridays from 4 to midnight, Saturdays from 1 to midnight, and Sundays from 1 to 8. But
Do
if
you
people,
guys serve alcohol, or is
We
it
do.
just so you do have alcohol?
we do have alcohol. We have beer and wine and slushies and alcoholic slushies and slushies for kids. We don't want to mix those up.
That's cool.
And we have things like, we can't serve hard liquor, but the law allows us to serve things like rum and cokes and cans, gin
Right.
and tonics. So we do have things for just about everybody.
And food?
So we have a food truck that we put there. And so that's going to get launched pretty soon. And the same guys that run Germain's created our menu, custom menu for the arcade.
Awesome.
It's delicious.
Germain's is great, so I'm sure it's going to be
It's so good.
spectacular.
And then on the 6 food trucks, we're about to kick that off across the street. At the arcade, you'll be able to order from any of them. And there's 6 different television screens in there, and you'll be able to pick which one, and then there's going to be runners moving back and forth. So
Cool.
you can come into the arcade and get a plethora of stuff. And we're talking about opening up an art gallery next to it, and there's a cigar bar on its way.
Oh, wow.
And a whole bunch of stuff that,
You know, I'm so
gonna be
excited because
great.
my law firm is literally 1 block away. So I get to, I'm going to take my team there, and I want to do the whole thing. I want to do the punk outer, I want to do Bragging Rights, and I want to do Hatchetberry.
That'd be great.
And just, try to bond over these games. The problem is I'm really competitive, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
are. So
Let's
I want
play.
I want the bragging rights. I don't want to lose to anyone on my team. So that's the one thing I'm concerned about is I'll be too competitive.
have you seen the water park I'm storing on 8th Avenue?
I saw something that was in the old Bellator Fitness in the back.
Yeah.
Was that it?
It's part of it.
Okay.
So one of the craziest thing that I've done, which I'm trying to find a place for it here, is we bought a Cocoa Keys water park,
Okay.
which is a $20 million water park.
Is that from the Bahamas, right?
No, this was built by Berkshire Hathaway
Where
for their
was Cocoa
corporate
Key?
retreat in Omaha. So Cocoa
Okay.
Keys is a chain of water parks.
Oh, wow.
And I basically stopped drinking. I'm not an alcoholic and by any means, but for a while I stopped drinking anything. I got really healthy,
Right.
but my mind needed something, so I started buying things on auction. And I wound up buying a water park at auction.
Oh, my God.
Not knowing what I
Greg,
was doing.
What were you thinking, man?
And it was $10,000, and I'm like, oh, it's whatever, I'll just go take some water slides. And we went up there and we saw, oh my gosh, this is a full-blown water park.
Yeah.
We can't leave it. So I moved to Omaha for a couple months with some friends, and we cranes and rigging crews, and we disassembled it, and we brought it to Gainesville. Because we're the pumps and the lazy river and all sorts
Wow.
of things. And so we're trying to figure out what we do with it. And it's sitting in those buildings right now.
As a lawyer, I'll tell you, buy some dang good insurance
Right.
if you open that sucker up, because those things are dangerous. There used to be a water park in Ocala called Silver Springs,
That's right.
Wild Waters in Silver Springs,
Yeah.
Which was fun. Well, we're ending our show in 30 seconds. We got to get you back, Greg, because we just started. I would let everyone out there know if they want to go to check out one of the largest arcades in Florida, you got to go to Bragging Rights. It's located on 8th Avenue in between 6th Street and Main Street. You can't miss it. It's right across from the food truck area. There's a Fear Garden going on right now.
That's right.
And so there's everything that's going on is awesome. So we've run out of time. Greg, thank you again for showing
you.
up. And thank you for listening out there. We'll see you next Tuesday.